Hey there, folks! If you enjoy diving into the world's greatest mysteries with us, don't forget to follow Secrets of the Ancients. To watch this and future videos, support us by subscribing, liking and commenting. It really helps us keep exploring these fascinating stories together. That's actually a hill formation you can find in Western Sudan. Knowing that might make it even creepier because it looks like the crack in the middle is swallowing everything around it. This black hole-like scenario reminds us of our next stop, Vostok Island. This strange spot is a coral atoll covering about 59 acres, located in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, roughly 400 miles northwest of Tahiti. If you look it up on Google Earth, it appears completely blurred out, which has sparked all kinds of wild theories. Some people claim it's a top-secret base, or even a fictional island straight out of the TV show Lost. But in reality, what you're seeing is just a dense, dark green forest made up of bunya trees. Since no one lives there and it's rarely visited, the island has remained largely untouched by humans. Next, we have this giant star or mandala-like shape just outside the town of Pahrump, Nevada. It's caused a stir online, with people wondering if it's proof of extraterrestrial activity. To make things even stranger, it's located right next to the Tonopah Test Range, also known as the infamous Area 52. Despite its eerie appearance, it's most likely just one of thousands of crop circles that became famous after Google Earth launched. Also in Nevada, there's this spiral formation that looks a lot like another mysterious crop circle. But things get weirder when you switch to Street View. As you zoom in, you'll see it's actually made of carefully arranged rocks. This maze, if you want to call it that, is part of an open-air museum in a ghost town called Rhyolite. And if that's not creepy enough, look around. You'll spot dozens of strange figures in white cloaks. They might seem real, but they're actually statues created by a Belgian artist in the 1980s. Even stranger than finding one huge circle is discovering a whole bunch of them. Our next location is in Wyoming, where you'll find so many strange circular structures, it's hard to count them all. During the 20th century, Wyoming's economy shifted from farming to heavy industry, especially oil, gas and coal extraction. So it's likely these circles are remnants of tank farms, places where oil storage tanks used to be. If you want to avoid nightmares, you might not want to look up the tomb of Emil Becker in Poland. If you find it on Street View, prepare yourself for an abandoned site filled with some of the creepiest sculptures ever. Terrifying stuff. Sticking to the spooky theme, let's head to a remote corner of Kazakhstan where you'll find a massive pentagram etched into the ground, about 1,200 feet wide. Before jumping to conclusions about satanic cults, it's worth mentioning this is actually a park designed in the shape of a star. The roads that form the star are lined with trees, making it appear even more pronounced from above. From far away, this next symbol might look like alien writing, as if a hyper-intelligent civilization is trying to send us a message. But the mystery has been solved. This is located in De Hoge Veluwe, a national park in the Dutch province of Gelderland. The lines are actually part of the park's logo. You can also check out this bizarre land formation that looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie or Avatar. It's located in Inner Mongolia, China, and is believed to be a granite quarry. But no one really knows why it appears such a vivid blue on Google Earth. On Bing Maps, it looks much more natural in colour. In the remote Australian outback lies a massive geoglyph known as the Maori Man. Discovered in the late 1990s, it appears to depict an Aboriginal hunter with a boomerang or stick. It stretches over 2 miles long and about 1.6 miles wide, with deep grooves carved into the earth, adding to the mystery of its creation. Despite investigations, its origin remains unknown. In the Sahara Desert, there's another giant geoglyph called the Desert Breath. Like many things in this video, it's often thought to be alien-made. But, a quick Google search reveals that it's actually a land art installation created by 3 Greek artists in 1997. They moved over 280,000 square feet of sand and even created a small pond in the center. Egypt holds many secrets, and people exploring it via Google Earth have found a stunning triangular plateau. Some immediately thought they'd discovered a hidden pyramid, but experts quickly dismissed the idea, saying there's no logical reason for a pyramid to be in that location, about 8 miles west of the Nile Valley in Upper Egypt. It's more likely just a hill eroded by natural forces and, well, a whole lot of wishful thinking. Sometimes nature itself creates the creepiest sculptures, like the Badlands Guardian in Alberta, Canada. From above, it looks like not just one, but 2 human heads emerging from the landscape. These natural forms were carved by rain erosion on soft clay soil. Ironically, man-made structures near the site make the figure look like it's wearing headphones. Deserts seem to be hotspots for strange images on Google Earth. Our next stop is China again, in the Gobi Desert, where you'll see weird white squiggly lines that seem completely random. For a while, experts couldn't figure out whether they were drawn or carved into the landscape. There's still debate online, but the most likely explanation is that it's a satellite calibration site. Satellite cameras focus on these giant grids to align themselves in orbit. Check out this fully intact airplane that looks like it's sunk beneath the ocean near Crooked Island in the Bahamas. Some viral videos claim it's one of Pablo Escobar's drug planes, but realistically something lying on the ocean floor wouldn't be visible that clearly, so it's probably a plane flying low when the satellite image was taken. That said, Escobar did have a plane crash in another part of the Bahamas, near a place called Norman's Cay. You can still spot that one in the shallow turquoise waters if you search for sunken plane Norman Cay. If you believe aliens are already among us, try plugging these coordinates into Google Earth. Explore the area in Street View and... what is that? Don't worry, it's not a real alien. The strange, creature-looking shadow is actually just a person wearing a 360-degree Street View camera hidden in a trekker backpack. If you look closely across Google Earth, you might stumble across more of these long-necked creatures walking around the planet. Now, how long has it been between the invention of the first computer and the modern machines we use today? The first electronic computer was ENIAC, created by American scientists in 1945, but there's an even older machine, the difference engine by Charles Babbage, built in 1822. That means it's been over 200 years since the first computer. Or so we thought. In 1900, a group of sponge divers exploring the Mediterranean Sea between Crete and mainland Greece made a huge archaeological discovery: sunken ships filled with treasure. Among the finds was a strange stone block the size of a large book. It was ignored at first and sent to a museum. Months later, archaeologists studying it discovered hidden bronze gears inside, shocking scientists, since nothing like it should have existed in ancient Greece. Technology back then wasn't that advanced. The object, later named the Antikythera mechanism, has baffled researchers for over a century. It was incredibly fragile, having been underwater for 1,000 years. When touched, it fell apart, eventually splitting into 82 pieces. It turned out to be an ancient astronomical calculator, a complex structure with 30 bronze gears, all powered by a hand crank. It could track the positions of the sun and moon, predict eclipses, and even mark the dates of the Olympic Games. It was like the Silicon Valley of ancient Greece, where brilliant minds built revolutionary tech. The Antikythera mechanism proved that people in the distant past had an advanced understanding of astronomy and the tools to study the stars. In 2016, scientists found over 3,000 symbols carved into the device, serving as an instruction manual. The text included eclipse colors, celestial movements, and predictions, essentially a checklist for tracking planetary events. The Greeks knew celestial bodies followed similar orbital paths and even factored in geographic location when calculating results, meaning observers had to input different coordinates depending on where they were. Modern NASA computers can do the same things, but they rely on electricity, processors, and millions in funding. Ancient Greeks did it all with a small hand-cranked device. This changes everything we thought we knew about ancient technology. Fun fact, the ancient Greeks may have also invented the odometer, a device that tracks travel distance, long before the digital age. The Romans later adopted it to help build roads. The Greeks were the first to try applying logic to geometry, formalizing rules and formulas still used today. Archimedes noticed that when a solid object is submerged in water, it displaces a volume equal to its own. Ever heard of the Hippocratic Oath? Doctors read it aloud before beginning their practice. Concepts like doctor-patient confidentiality and the duty to help and heal all began in ancient Greece. People's lives were completely transformed thanks to Hippocrates, the ancient Greek physician. In addition to his famous oath, he was one of the first to make a real scientific leap in medicine. Back in ancient times, people believed diseases were punishments from the gods. But Hippocrates discovered that illnesses had natural causes and that the human body responded to them in different ways. That may seem obvious to us now, but the ancient Greeks figured this out as far back as 460 BCE. Aristotle was the first to suggest that the Earth is round, and thanks to him and his influence we have movies, TV shows and theatre as we know them today. The ancient Greeks were the inventors of modern theatre. Aristotle wrote the first ever rules of drama, laying the groundwork for how to capture the audience's attention. Greek writers created plays in all kinds of genres, tragedy, satire, comedy, shaping Western culture in a big way. That's why so many directors still enjoy staging ancient plays. And that's just a small part of what the Greeks invented, which makes it no surprise they could also build something as advanced as the Antikythera mechanism. Now let's talk about the Richat structure, a giant formation in the Sahara Desert that looks just like a massive bullseye. It's so big you can see it from space. Even the CIA took an interest. Back in 1965, they planned an aerial survey looking for magnetic anomalies, though the results are still classified. Some believe the theories about this place might be true, that it could actually be the lost city of Atlantis. Traditionally, Atlantis was said to have sunk beneath the waves, but more recent discoveries suggest we may have been looking in the wrong place. The story of Atlantis goes way back and was first mentioned by Plato. He described a place full of greenery with a strange structure. 3 rings of land surrounding 2 rings of water. 2 key quotes from Plato's writings suggest Atlantis wasn't just an island in the middle of the ocean. In fact, the city seemed to be influenced by both Africa and Europe, challenging the idea that it was located in the Atlantic. The Richat structure, also called the Eye of the Sahara, closely resembles Plato's description of Atlantis. When astronauts first spotted it from space, they thought it might be an impact crater, but its ringed shape matches the design Plato described. More importantly, the Sahara wasn't always a desert. It was once a lush tropical region. Around 11,000 years ago, it began to dry out. Researchers discovered evidence of a huge river called the Tamanrasset that once flowed in the area, potentially supporting a large community. This river passed right through the Richat structure, just as Plato described. A massive inland sea once existed here 50 to 100 million years ago. And it's believed that Atlantis might have been destroyed by a dramatic sea level rise about 11,500 years ago, possibly due to the end of the last ice age. NASA satellite images show patterns that support this theory. The concentric rings of the Richat structure could hold clues to how our planet evolved over millions of years. They were likely formed by erosion of rock layers, creating this strange landscape of ridges and valleys. At its center is a peak that rises 1,300 feet, revealing a circular dome-like shape. Unlike impact craters, the Richat structure is strikingly symmetrical. Some think it formed when ancient rock layers were pushed up and sculpted by wind and water. Others believe it's the result of an eroded geological dome. There's even a theory that rising salt layers help shape it. Dating techniques show the structure formed between 541 and 252 million years ago. Around the outer rings, researchers have found ancient tools and stone implements, including some from the Neolithic period. But there's little evidence that people lived there permanently. It looks like the area was used for temporary activities like hunting and tool making. Of course, there are more strange mysteries out there. One of them is in Norway, the mysterious Hessdalen Lights, also called the Valley of Lights. This 10-mile-wide valley is completely remote, but if you hike to the top of the hill, you'll find a strange blue box full of cameras scanning the area. The mystery began in the 1980s when fireballs started lighting up the night sky. It happened so often it terrified the locals. Some even said they saw the lights hovering near their homes. At its peak, there were about 20 sightings per week. The lights got global media attention, and soon people started flooding into the valley, hoping to catch a glimpse for themselves. In 1984, a group of scientists joined the mission and brought high-tech gear like magnetometers and radiation detectors. What they observed was truly bizarre. Some lights moved slowly, while others zipped across the sky at speeds of up to 19,000 miles per hour. People tried to explain them as airplanes, reflections, ball lightning, satellites, planets or meteors, but the way the lights moved ruled out all those explanations. Now let's head to another strange place, the largest subglacial lake among 675 known lakes in Antarctica. It's called Lake Vostok, and it could easily be hiding unknown life forms. The lake lies under the ice sheet in East Antarctica. Dive down about 2.5 miles through the ice and you'll reach it, sitting 1,600 feet below sea level. It stretches 155 miles long, 31 miles wide, and is about 1,400 feet deep. It's also the 6th largest lake in the world by volume. Lake Vostok is like an underwater city with towering columns and deep bases. It was discovered in 1993, but it had been sitting there hidden for over 2,000 years. In 2012, scientists drilled through the ice and extracted the longest ice core ever recorded, reaching all the way to the lake's surface. Then in 2013, something unexpected happened. Water erupted during drilling and mixed with the fluids used in the process. But by 2015, they managed to collect a clean water sample. Some scientists believe the lake may contain life forms that haven't been seen before, preserved in fossil water untouched for millions of years. It may be similar to the hidden oceans on icy moons like Europa or Enceladus. It all started with a 19th century theory that suggested fresh water could be hiding under Antarctica's ice. In 1955, seismic surveys hinted at a lake, and by the 1990s, satellite data confirmed the presence of Lake Vostok. And it's not alone. In 2005, scientists discovered an island in the middle of the lake. 2 smaller lakes were also found nearby, and it's now believed that an entire underground river network may connect them. Far from Antarctica, in Venezuela, there's another wild natural wonder. Catatumbo lightning. At the point where the Catatumbo River meets Lake Maracaibo, lightning storms put on a spectacular show. This crazy weather event happens between 140 to 160 nights a year, for up to 10 hours at a time, and can flash up to 280 times an hour. The frequency of these storms changes with the seasons and from year to year. In 2010, there was a break between January and March, which made some people worry the lightning was gone for good. As the sun sets, strong east winds pick up. These are known as low-level jets, similar to the ones seen in America's Great Plains. They carry moisture from the Caribbean and the lake. When this moist air hits the mountain peaks, it causes intense thunderstorms. And because the winds keep blowing all night, the storms keep coming, which is why this area has the highest lightning rate in the world. Now let's move to China, home to yet another unexplained wonder, the Longyou Caves. These man-made caves feature slanted ceilings and strong pillars. They remained hidden for centuries and only revealed themselves in the 1990s when local farmers drained a few ponds and uncovered 5 massive underground chambers. Further digging revealed 19 smaller caves. These caves are between 60 to 110 feet wide and 26 to 50 feet tall. Archaeologists found artifacts dating back over 2,000 years to the reign of Emperor Qin of the Han dynasty. The real mystery is how these caves stayed intact for thousands of years without collapsing, and how they were built in the first place, since no ancient records mention them. The walls show chisel marks suggesting the rock was dug layer by layer, but the construction method remains a complete mystery. So, if you're planning a summer vacation in Africa, consider visiting the Sahara Desert. It's vast,